Let me be perfectly clear. We will meet the Q4 targets, no matter what it takes. Failure is not an option here.
Have you ever laughed at the worst possible moment? A room full of silence, someone sharing something deeply serious, a tense meeting, a hospital waiting area, a funeral, and suddenly you feel it rising. A smile, a tiny burst of laughter you are desperately trying to swallow, and the more you try to stop it, the stronger it becomes. Then afterward, the shame creeps in. What is wrong with me? But what if I told you that laughter in serious moments is not cruelty, it is protection? Psychologists call this a nervous response. When the brain experiences emotional overload, especially stress, grief, or social pressure, it sometimes misfires. Instead of tears or stillness, it releases tension through laughter. It is not joy, it is regulation. Your nervous system is trying to protect you from drowning in intensity. Think about it. When tension rises too quickly, your body looks for a release valve. Some people freeze, some go silent, some over-explain, and some laugh. It is the brain's awkward way of saying, "This is too much. Let me turn the volume down." There is actually research showing that laughter activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for calming us down. In other words, your body might be trying to self-soothe, which is slightly ironic, because nothing makes a serious moment more tense than someone laughing. But here is the deeper part. Many people who laugh during serious situations grew up in environments where emotions were overwhelming, unpredictable, or heavy. As children, they learned that humor was survival. If the room felt tense, crack a joke, and if someone was angry, lighten the mood. If things felt painful, smile. Over time, that coping mechanism becomes automatic. It wires itself into the nervous system. You are not choosing to laugh. Your body is choosing safety. And sometimes, safety looks socially inappropriate. There is also something else happening. When we feel anxious in front of others, especially in formal or high-stakes environments, the brain becomes hyper-aware of how we are being perceived. That social pressure builds internal tension. Laughter releases that pressure. It says, "I am still okay. We are still okay, even if nothing feels okay." The strange thing is, the people who laugh at the wrong moments are often the most sensitive in the room. They feel everything. They just cannot always process it in a straight line. So instead of tears, it comes out sideways as a giggle they did not plan. And maybe the question is not, why do I laugh? Maybe the real question is, what am I protecting myself from feeling? Because beneath that awkward laugh, there is usually something tender. Embarrassment, fear, helplessness, grief, even love. Laughter in those moments is like emotional static. When the signal gets too strong, your system scrambles it. There is actually a term for this: incongruous affect. It sounds clinical, but it simply means the emotion expressed does not match the situation. And it often happens under stress. Soldiers have reported laughing during intense moments. Doctors sometimes laugh after delivering difficult news. Students giggle while being scolded. It does not mean they do not care. It means they care so much their system needs relief. And if we are honest, most of us have done it. You are sitting there thinking, "Please do not laugh. Please do not laugh." And your brain, for reasons unknown, replies, "This is hilarious." It is not hilarious. It is overloaded. There is also a social layer to this. Humans are wired for connection. In uncomfortable moments, we instinctively try to restore social balance. A small laugh can be an unconscious attempt to say, I am not a threat. I am still part of the group. It is primitive. It is human. And yes, it is sometimes terribly timed. But here is where it becomes important. If laughter is your shield, what happens when you slowly lower it? What happens when instead of suppressing it or shaming yourself, you become curious? The next time it happens, notice the sensation. Is your chest tight? Is your throat dry? Is your stomach fluttering? That is anxiety. That is vulnerability trying to move through you. The laugh is just the exit door it found. And when you understand that, something shifts. Instead of thinking, I am insensitive, you begin to think, I am overwhelmed. That is a very different story. Of course, this does not mean we avoid accountability. If our laughter hurts someone, we can acknowledge it gently. A simple, I am sorry, I laugh when I am nervous, can dissolve so much misunderstanding. Most people understand more than we expect, because they have their own strange coping mechanisms too. Some people go silent, some people talk too much, some people stare at the floor. You laugh, and maybe that does not make you broken. Maybe it makes you someone whose nervous system learned to survive intensity with lightness. There is something strangely beautiful about that. In a world that can feel unbearably serious, your system reaches for air. It reaches for release. It reaches for something that says, I can handle this, even if it comes out a little crooked. So, the next time it happens, do not rush to judge yourself. Pause, breathe, and ask gently, what feeling just tried to pass through me? Because sometimes the laugh is not the problem. It is the clue. And if you follow that clue with compassion instead of shame, you might discover that underneath the awkward smile is a very human heart, just trying to stay afloat.